I find that understanding, to some extent at least, the psychological aspects of conflict is really helpful, because it helps me to adapt my strategies as a mediator to facilitate more constructive discussions between the parties and to help them to reach outcomes that work better for them. A couple of really simple examples spring to mind. So human beings have an innate and almost obsessive desire to be and to appear to be consistent. So once we've taken a stand or made a decision, we feel driven to stick to that. We know that punters at the races, for example, become way more confident in the prospects of the horse they're backing after they've put a few quid on it at the bookies than they were before. And that translates into conflict resolution. The more often we say or write the same words, the more strongly we believe them. And so one of the reasons I discourage parties from rehearsing their legal positions in an opening joint session is that, irrespective of the effect on the other side, it actually further entrenches their own view that they're right and the other lot are scoundrels. And for that to happen in the first hour of a mediation is obviously really unhelpful. Another example, when we hear or read words, it's to a substantial extent the meaning associations derived from our life experiences that have formed us and our attitude that govern how we understand those words. And that's what often lies at the root of misunderstandings. So I might say something to you that sounds entirely innocuous to me and which is meant that way, but which is heard by you as inflammatory, because our life experiences and therefore our neural structures are different. So we interpret the words differently. But that's no one's fault, but it represents a serious risk in conflict, especially where there are a whole host of cognitive biases doing their best to crank up the tension at the same time. And so one of the jobs of a mediator is to help the parties to ensure that what each side really means is properly understood by the other. And in that respect, we often act almost as a translator in mediations.